Everybody, Rob Anderson, Clean Power Wash, Salisbury, Maryland. Just wanted to let y'all know, just got a 7-day ban from Ron Musgraves from the uamcc pages. Uh, Basically, because I asked them to allow us to talk about the election in the Facebook groups, which would be the most logical, the most realistic, and best format for us to get information out to people. I understand for it to not be the official information spot, and certainly we would need to go through an official process for nominations and for the actual elections. That I'm 100,000% on board with that. It's just complete garbage. Ron has been after me because I won't sit down and fall in line with him. Because I won't let somebody else be screwed. Many people be screwed by him and stay silent. His exact words were to me that he hasn't attacked me, so why am I getting involved? Guys, it's called bullying. If you see somebody getting bullied and don't do something about it, you're just as guilty of the bullying as they are. I'm not one to sit back and let things happen that I know and can tell are completely unacceptable and out of control and shouldn't be happening. It's just not in my DNA. Never has, never will be. Um, so that's why I have certainly made enough videos about all this. And for those of you not involved in the uamcc, don't even bother watching this. Well, unless you're considering joining it, and then watch and be forewarned. What really irritates me the most about all this is the conflict of interest that keeps going on with so much of this stuff. Ron's out to get me because I'm somebody who could very easily get elected to the BOD, could very easily win a popularity contest to be executive BOD when that time arises, and I don't feel like tolerating his crap. That's exactly why Ray was removed. All the other stuff's just made up, trumped up garbage. It's just so ridiculous. So to clue you in a little bit on what's going on in the past 5 or 6 days, I made a video about a week ago saying, thanking Eric Seitz, or actually probably the beginning of the week, because by knowing him, I was able to book an $800 roof wash, and that the BOD needed to figure out a way to resolve and move forward from this, to help reach out to all those people that have been unfortunately asked to resign or kicked out by Ron. So Ron starts, attacking me, trying to pick a fight with me. Saying that I've caused damage, that I'm the reason why people have dropped their memberships, that I've been talking bad about the org. And let's be really clear, guys. Again, talking bad and not being happy with the leadership and the lack thereof does not mean that I'm talking negative about the organization. That does not mean that I am personally attacking them. Again, I expect leaders to lead. That's it. Plain and simple. Leaders lead. If you're not going to lead, then don't be a leader. Don't serve on a position if you're not willing to get out in front of people, fix things when they're wrong, make things right, and try and keep the peace. Ron doesn't want me to be on the BOD, plain and simple. So part of that was deciding that last night, when somebody asked about t-shirt designs, they wanted to get some really nice looking power washing shirts. So I mentioned Thin Prince, Robert Chaffee, who did some awesome shirts. You've seen me in them a bunch. I love the shirts. I've gotten so many compliments, and I've already made about $2,000 just in jobs that I've booked from people seeing those shirts. So I've already doubled my investment right there, and that was within the first 3 weeks of having them. And I've probably done another $5,000 in estimates from it as well. But basically, Ron said that I wasn't allowed to mention somebody's name that wasn't a vendor in the free members group. And here's the problem with that, guys. And it was challenging me on the fact that I was challenging him that he had, added Dalton Havron, who had specifically gone after, had taken a proportioner, drilled it out, looked at the components, rebuilt it himself, and I don't know if he's selling them or not. But anyways, he's been a controversial person, to say the least. And Ron saying that basically that it, you know, it's going to be too expensive for me to participate because vendors are going to leave if we don't send business their ways. Sorry, guys, I can't recommend any of the other shirt companies, E3 or whoever else. Again, I have nothing against E3. I don't know them. I didn't use them. I looked at some of their pricing and products and decided to finally make the plunge with Finprint. Shirts turned out great. From everything I've seen with E3, the turnaround time appears to be about double from what I personally, at the very least, experienced with Finprint. So I'm going to recommend somebody that I've used. If it's something that I've never used, like if somebody came up to me and said, hey, I need a recommendation on paver sealing or sealing pavers, I don't know how you call it, whatever. Then I'm going to send them the Seal and Lock because it's somebody that I know. I doubt I'll ever need to use their product because that's just not something that we do a lot around here. But to force me to recommend somebody that I haven't used, have no experience with, and I have experience with somebody else doing something different, or doing, it's a shirt. Nobody has a copyright on t-shirts design. It's creative artwork, plain and simple. Like, you can't say that just because one guy does design at the conventions that's the only person that I can recommend. I'd recommend KBK Graphics. I'd recommend Prolific Prints. I'd recommend Tim Fields, Daryl Copeland. I've used those people. So I can't recommend somebody who's not there or that I haven't used. The other big thing that really bothers me, guys, when I was being attacked by Ron in front of the BOD members, or BOD, not members, in front of Christy White, Tony Evans, and George Clark. It's interesting, too, because he added them, didn't add the other board members, and supposedly they were there to oversee a disagreement between two members, which, I decided not to invite any other uamcc people into the group at that point, simply because I didn't feel like ruining somebody else's night by getting them involved in the garbage that was about to go on. I called out both of them, or all three of them, for not saying anything, and that's the only way that they started talking. Oh, well, hey, Ron's got lots of good information. Well, you know what? Here's the thing, kids. Let's grow up. You know what? We were all kids at one point. We all had parents. If you didn't, I'm sorry. But your parents, I'm sure, gave you lots of advice. And as you grew older, you didn't need as much of advice from them. And at this point, I'm 35 years old. I can certainly decide what I want to do anytime I want to do it and go do it. If it's a big decision and I'm not sure what to do, I'll check with people that I trust. So at that point, if I wanted to get my parents' advice on something that was a big decision and I wasn't sure what to do, then by all means, I'm going to go ahead and do that. But to have, the former president of the organization calling the shots in that, and then after we've already had a disagreement, which again is more of just Ron wanting his way and me trying to be realistic, then he starts the thing back up again, adds Pat Clark into it, which I had already added Pat and Rick. The other day I added John Karmazin because I want these guys to see the full story, instead of how it's being selectively portrayed by Ron. And then Ron booted me. It's all such garbage, guys. It's so ridiculous, and to me, it shows again a complete and total lack of ability to lead, willingness. I have respect for the BOD, and if they would just lead, let's go back to Braveheart. Just lead us. If you would just lead us, this all would go away. But if you continue to allow somebody who's not the leader to lead, to control you, then yeah, this is what's going to happen. This is why I'm so frustrated about it all, is because, again, if the BOD would simply do their job, this wouldn't be happening. And the BOD doing their job doesn't mean you shut up the people that are on the other side. You talk with them. You have a dialogue. Let's be realistic. BOD, you really do. You need to grow up. Ron needs to be distanced, very far from being able to control, being able to suspend people, being able to have these admin rights. By the way, I was removed from the membership committee of the uamcc after being on that for, I don't know. I was on the membership committee, and I was also an admin of the member group. I got removed from the membership committee, supposedly for not making it to enough meetings. I was aware that I had missed one. I asked for the dates of the meetings that I missed. They were unable to provide that to me, or unable to show any form of notice. Ron apparently is now trying to claim that they asked, who's dead weight in these groups. Let's get them removed, which is a garbage statement, and just kind of a really bad way to word it too. If you look at the bylaws also, it does require that BOD members cannot be on the actual membership committees or any of that, because of the undue influence that they would have there. And if you look at the membership committee, it's about half BOD members. It's a conflict of interest, guys. That's why, again, Ron could be on all the committees, but if he just stepped back and stopped controlling everything else that's going on, it's so ridiculous. It's just so out of control. And the real big thing that bothers me about all of this is that it gets me so fired up, and then it spills over, and that's an unfortunate thing. I really try to not let people get under my skin that much that it gets me that fired up. I know deep down inside we all have that inner Hulk that just wants to lose its mind and just smash everything. But I'll be back next Sunday in the group. We'll see what that looks like. Whatever. I'm out.